Here we are again. Thank you for checking out another video blog episode of Insights and Ideas by Carl David Birman. Today I'm sporting a really cool hat for the Hudson Valley Cats. Hudson Valley Cats. This is a baseball team from an independent league based in Troy, New York. It's hard to get a good read on it, and there they are. So, true story. I'll put the hat back on. True story. Back in the day, I had a cat named Valley, and now I'm a fan of the Valley Cats. Valley Cats, Cat Valley, get it? I'm a lover of words. I've always been a wordsmith, and as I age and I reach the point where my perspective actually is interesting to the younger generation, because I'm 65, as that happens, I increasingly find myself outspoken and generally speaking out. So this blog is a chance for me to do that. And what a blessing it really is to have a platform and some kind of an audience to share some form of an insight in some types of ideas. Well, quick story. Back in 1993 or 94, I lived on Union Street in Brooklyn, New York, between 4th and 5th Avenues in a brownstone building that was rent controlled. I paid about $430 a month for my rent. I was on a lease, but I had a very, very low rent. And I think somebody trying to rent or get a mortgage on that block in Park Slope, Brooklyn, today would be hard pressed to find something less than $4,000 a month. It's a very, very attractive block. And as you go up the hill, for anyone who knows Park Slope, as you go up that hill from on Union Street from 4th to 5th, and then 5th to 6th, 6th to 7th, 7th to 8th, and then finally to Prospect Park West, uh, the price goes up depending on if it's a nice property. Now, I happen to know the nuances of all this. Union Street is probably not the most desirable block to rent or buy because it's a two-way busy thoroughfare and it has bus stops. Well, that's a negative because those buses do stop, and even if they're electric buses without the diesel fumes, they um, they have noise. But I digress. I had a very cheap rental back in the day, and I was blessed and fortunate to have it. And I had several friends living in the building who shall remain unnamed. And I was a young 30-something, single young urban professional type, uh, living the dream in Park Slope when it was truly, truly like an edgy, up and coming neighborhood for young professionals. And so, what's a young professional single to do but to get a cat? Well, as luck would have it, my friend in the building had a litter of cats. And I adopted uh, two sisters, Valley Girl and Zodi Girl. Valley Girl I named because I liked the moniker Valley Girl, which even then, and again, I know I'm dating myself, the 90s we're talking about when dinosaurs had just completed their millennium of roaming the earth. So we're talking ancient history for most of my viewers today. But the term Valley Girl probably goes back to the 70s. And it's a stereotype about young women and teens from a valley somewhere in Orange County, California, around Los Angeles. I don't even know which valley. Someone else could fill in the blanks for that. It's not important for the story here. I just thought that was a clever phrase. And wouldn't it be funny to name a cat Valley? Not Valley Girl, but Valley. So that was that. She was a beautiful cat. She was a stray. So she had a coat of different colors. She was not a long hair, but certainly hairy enough to get hair all over the apartment. And she was a big girl. Valley was a large cat. I've always been a cat person. I could tell you other stories about cats, but we don't have all day. Today's episode is in honor of my cat, Valley. And so Valley was the sister of Zodi. And of those two cats, their personalities were quite different. Valley was a very active cat and a bit rambunctious. So she liked to explore and climb and do things. And I had a fire escape because this was a railroad style New York City apartment where I had the entire building from front to back. So Valley Girl liked to roam throughout the one bedroom apartment. So I had a living room, bedroom, I'm saying that wrong. I had the apartment divided into spaces with doors and with dividers. So I had that front area, and I lived there all alone. So a lot of space. That front room, the bedroom area, a nice living room area, a kitchen area, and then a fire escape. Oh, Valley Girl loved to roam everywhere, and she did get out on the fire escape, even though I tried to prevent it because we all know what happens to cats who are on fire escapes without a leash. They climb up and they climb down. Well, Valley Girl did try to climb to the roof, and I was on the third floor, and I believe she came back. I know she came back because she was my cat after that particular episode. But there was another episode where Valley Girl fell from the third floor fire escape down to the thing in the back of this building. It wasn't really a garden, it was just a open space owned by the owner of the building, Josie, my landlord, Josie. That would be a story for yet another episode of Insights and Ideas. Oh my gosh, my landlady, Josie Gigliello, may she rest in peace. I know for a fact that she has passed into the heaven where landlords, where elderly Italian landladies go. Josie is there. So poor Valley fell, but she was fine. Maybe she had a scratch, no broken bones, nothing. And I retrieved her down there and I brought her back to my apartment and she was fine. She was fine. So that's a little story about my cat Valley. I wanted to quickly tell you about her sister Zodi. Zodi was actually, her full name was Nora Black Zodiac. Where I came up with that name, heaven only knows. Cannot remember. I've probably done too many drugs in my old age. I am 65, so I don't remember the origin of the name Nora and the middle name Black. Well, she was black. She was an exotic cat, and I can't remember the breed. She was probably almost a purebred, even though she was a sibling of a stray who had many different kind of mixtures to her. This particular cat that I'm describing, Zodi Girl, was almost purebred. Beautiful, beautiful black cat with long hair. And her personality was the opposite of the aforesaid Valley. So Zodi, because I dropped the Nora and the black, it was just too many words. Zodi Girl, or Zodi, she was a lap cat. And as she evolved from kittenhood to adulthood, she became the type of cat that really needed to sit in your lap so she could use her paws and do that, and then purr, and then cuddle and snuggle. And so you would have to sit there for long periods of time to reassure Zodi Girl that everything was okay. She was a very, very sweet cat. And I miss both of them and I think of them, but I'm making this video in the summer of 2026, 32 years or 33, no, probably 32 years after I adopted Zodi and Valley. Most cats don't live past the age of 20, so the odds are that both Zodi and Valley are in that heaven where cats go. And I take my hat off to them and to you, my dear listeners, on the video blog of Carl David Birman. I'm giving away these stories free of charge. I am not marketing. I am not promoting. I am not selling. I'm not upselling, nor am I downselling. If somebody could post a comment, what is upselling? What is downselling? I don't know. I'm sure I'm the victim of upselling and downselling because I surf the internet a lot and I watch stuff on YouTube and I click through on some ads that I find appealing. So I'm sure that that terminology applies to me as a shopper and a customer. There you go. Well, I hope the weather is good where you are because it's raining outside here today. And like Bob Dylan said in the song, if it keeps on raining, the levee's got to break. Turns out someone told me that's a Led Zeppelin song. And so Bob Dylan may have appropriated the idea as his song, if it keeps on raining, the levee's going to break. That is a Bob Dylan song from a Bob Dylan album about 20 years ago. But apparently, I'm told it's a rock anthem by Led Zeppelin, which I've never found or heard because I'm not a Led Zeppelin person. Cheers to you. We've covered a lot of ground. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please come back. Please click the like and subscribe buttons. It won't cost you anything. And I don't know if you get snookered with advertising when you watch. I hope so, because that means that I've got a lot of viewers. If not, good for you, because that means you got me free of charge.